Hey everyone! So probably, as I would imagine quite a few of you already know, the Louis Vuitton toiletry cases have been discontinued. Now actually it wasn't so much that on its own that I'm going to talk about in this video. I was meaning for this video to be a don't worry everyone, here's what you can get for the same budget, and I'm absolutely stunned at how quickly prices on everything have gone up pretty much since I last looked. You know, when I do these videos, last time I looked online, you could get things, you could get small bags for up to kind of £600 or £700, and I feel like I only did a video on that a couple of maybe 2 months ago, but things have got crazy, and this is one really good example here where, you know, I love Dior, but when I was searching the internet for you, trying to find things that were in budget, I was coming up against stuff like this, which is a tiny coin case which you could probably get a few pound coins in, and it's £810. That sets the scene for what we're up against here. If circa £400, which was about the price of the larger size of the toiletry case, if that was around your budget, from what I've discovered, you're going to have to up that budget quite a bit, and it's not good. So is this the death of those once affordable, hackable items that typically existed in a brand's travel range lineup? As I see it, within a brand, you've got the level which is their bags, then you've got the level which is their SLGs, you know, wallets, purses, I don't know, small card holders, and then underneath was this more elusive, less known about range, which was their travel items. And if I go back actually to 2016, the first time I became aware of it, and by the way, the great thing about the travel items were that they were cheaper, a lot cheaper, but you got a lot for your money. So the great thing with the travel range was that you could always get something that was really well priced. Even if you go into stores at the moment, I feel that travel items aren't really what are out on the shelves. It's the bags that are pushed, it's the small accessories that are pushed. It's not so much those small luggage items, those vanity cases, and actually a lot of the time, if you did go and ask for those things, they weren't available and they had to be ordered in, or there was a wait list. And I'm going back kind of 2016, there wasn't a wait list because they were popular, there was a wait list because really no one knew they were there and no one was asking for them. In 2016, sorry, I forgot to move on from this, 2016 I was in Chanel, and I noticed, for the first time I've ever noticed, you know how they've got the counters with the glass on the top and then it's got products underneath it? I saw this pretty decent sized, what was vanity case, all over leather, quilted leather, double C on the top, and it was just a little bit under £1,000. Now, to give you an example, I have got, let me show you, because this is going to better demonstrate what I'm talking about. So that vanity case was just a bit under £1,000. This was over £700, around about the same time, and this is just a wallet. Do you see what I mean here? And it was simply because I don't feel that those items are known about back then, and certainly from a social media point of view, I don't feel that the trend of figuring out, oh, I can get that vanity case, it fits in it actually everything that I need to fit into a regular bag, my phone, my wallet, my makeup. Sure, it's a vanity case, but if I want to buy from Chanel, I've got a budget under £1,000, I don't really want to go and waste it on a wallet. Hey, I can actually buy a vanity case, I can turn it into a bag, I can do more with it. I think that alone was one thing that drew me to looking more into travel items. With the Louis Vuitton toiletry case, I know there's been a lot of talk about why is it being discontinued? Is social media the reason why it's been discontinued? And when I first thought about it, I thought that would be really mean for Louis Vuitton to discontinue a toiletry case just because they'd seen people on social media were converting it and doing fun things with it. And I thought, for a company that size, it does seem really petty and really mean. But could it actually be the truth? Because have a look at this. So I was looking on the site earlier because I thought if they've discontinued the toiletry case, that stood in their travel lineup for a reason, because there's a necessity for it for people that did buy it for travel reasons. And when I was having a look at what still exists that's in a similar shape, if you go and have a look, the items that I could find were the nearest price to the toiletry case was this. GM size is 480, MM size is 440, the PM size, that is the smallest, is 360. Now the difference is, if you look at it side on, what made the toiletry case a wearable item was that it had a slight trapeze design to it. So side on, it was wider at the bottom and narrower at the top, which meant that you could put bulkier items in and it didn't distort the shape of the bag or the pouch. What's left are cases that really look more like iPad cases. And even from a travel point of view, I don't understand the benefit of them. Let me know what you think. But I'm thinking, if I wanted to buy something like that for travel, I'm going to want to put bulky items in it. Makeup or my toothbrush, toothpaste. Even those travel toiletries are going to distort that item. And actually, therefore, if I was just going to use it for travel, I wouldn't even buy that item. I mean, I don't buy this stuff for travel anyway. I tend to use like less expensive things, but if I was going to buy that for travel, I wouldn't buy it because I'd be thinking it's good for the iPad, but it's not good for any of the toiletries that I would want to take. There was one item I could find that was included in the travel section from what I could see, and it's the closest thing that comes to the toiletry case. It is this, it's £700, comes in one size. It does have a little bit of leather on the top of it, but for £700, and I'm coming on to this in 1 second, if you're watching this, if you were going to buy that and you've missed out on it, and I have noticed on Pre-Loved they've shot up in price, I guess due to demand, I do have for you some alternatives. They are at a slightly higher budget because it seems that everyone has put their prices up, particularly on the travel items, which again I'm going to go into slightly more detail in a second. But if you're watching this and you wanted that and you've got that budget, I do have alternatives for you. So I'll tell you about those in 1 second. In addition to travel items, there was another area that I found that a lot of us cottoned onto, as I can buy that brand and I can buy nearly what I want, and it's going to cost me a lot less. And it was the menswear line. How many of you remember, even in Dior, I think 2 or 3 years ago, you could go into the men's section and you could buy, say, an oblique little bag or a camera bag. Let's say the women's bags were 2,800 plus. You could go into the men's section and the bags were sort of, I think I've got an example here of a bag that's 560 plus. I even started going in there and buying sort of sweaters and things, because I could buy sweaters in there that were Dior, you know, if that was what I was into at the time, and they were sort of way cheaper than the women's. Travel and menswear have been really, I feel, noticed by the brands, and their prices have been raised. I noticed earlier, I thought when I was doing this video, I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll go and have a look at the menswear and I'll be able to say to you, if you've got £400 or £500, you can buy a whole bag. No, it doesn't exist anymore. Is social media to blame for that? Possibly. Yeah, you could say it's a bad thing, because let's assume the brands saw it on social media and took a dislike to it and thought, we want to get more money out of you lot, and therefore closed off those routes. Well, what I love about social media is that creative element. Let me know what you think, but when I go on Instagram, I love seeing the ideas that people come up with so that they can get more wear out of the items they've got. And I love the creativity that people have on there, where they come up with an idea, where they can take the toiletry case and they can convert it into an actual bag. Take a look at this, and I'm actually going to link this website below, because for any of you who have got that bag, or even if you didn't get that bag and you wanted it, although it's still a flat bag, take a look at this. I'm surprised they haven't discontinued this, because for what you get, I don't know how this doesn't cost more. This is the Kirigami set. You get 3 items in one, and it's £430. I do want to say to any of you watching, if you've considered getting that, if you're at a point where you can justify that right now, I reckon that's going to go up. I don't know why that isn't sort of £600, considering that other case is like 700. I don't know how this isn't more. But quickly have a look at this. This website contains ideas. Well, it's actually a kit you can buy, where you can buy the kit and you can turn your toiletry case into an actual bag. And it's not just the larger size, they do kits all the way down on the kirigami to the smallest size envelope you can get, where you can put a little keychain on the side of it, turn it into a key ring on your keys or whatever you want to do with it. It's kind of like, is it social media's fault that it's happened? Should social media have muted itself and not shown that? No, I mean, as I say, I really like social media for the creativity, and those of you who watch me, you're into this stuff. And so if we've got a good idea, what's wrong with sharing it? Why should we be punished for doing that? Why should we feel that was our fault? Do you know what I mean? What can you get instead for similar money? I've got to tell you that when I was looking for alternatives, I thought to myself, I bet for £500, I can find you something that is very similar, if not a whole bag. Now, to be fair to you, there are loads of bags out there, bags that I really love, that are 500 and under, even though they're going up now. Spoken about them before. I really like Coach. I've actually, I've got a couple of Tory Burch bags. I've got some Sen Rev bags. What else do I have? I've got other bags that are of lower tiered brands. And they're just as well made, if not even better. Because, however, the toiletry case is from that iconic LV brand, I wanted to see what you could get not only from Louis Vuitton, but from Dior, from Gucci, from YSL. And even if the items I'm going to show you here are not things you like, just hear me out, because it's more the principle. And what I really want to do with this is just encourage you to have a look out there, save, like, bookmark or save down, I use that shop tagger thing, Karma thing, but save down bags on sites like Farfetch and Louisa Via Roma, because you can get bags on there that whenever they do those random coupon codes, they suddenly come down into a budget that might be more nearer to what you've got. But here are the examples that I found. Louis Vuitton, let's start with that. There is the Kirigami set. I really like this. I think it's really good value. Okay, it's not as wide as the toiletry case, but I actually really like the envelope design on it. And if you were to buy that conversion kit and turn it into, you know, a crossbody bag or a bag, I think you could make this look really cool. The next one that I really like is, I really like the Noe range. I know bucket bags aren't for everyone, and if you're worried about getting one because you're like, oh, it's going to be a mess in there, you can get really good bag organizers that slot in and they've got sections. But if you're into, let's say you like the toiletry case because it's got that print on it, you can, for example, you can get the Noe in the nano size, which is £830. Probably capacity wise, you could fit as much in the nano as you actually could in that toiletry case in the first place. Second up is the petite size, which is not a massive amount more at £945. And then you've got the BB size, which I actually think is quite a good size in between the petite and that nano, which is £925. Gucci, I wanted to take a look on here because you can often get quite a lot from Gucci. This leather bucket bag here is £755. Compare that to this item from, just going back to this item from Louis Vuitton, £700. What would you rather have? You might rather have the Louis Vuitton item, but I'm just trying to indicate that, have a look around, because you can actually get a full bag for the money that you would be paying on something like that. Then there is the Gucci Disco Soho, which is £865. You can get quite a few things from Fendi, including their Trésor bucket bags, but also if bucket bags are not for you, take a look at camera bags at the moment. You can get camera bags from quite a few brands, and they are, at the moment, they're under that £1,000 bracket, which I feel like for a brand like Fendi, I think that bag, going back a while, I feel like at one point it was like £700 and now it's crept up. But anyway, it's currently £930. It's one thing that I've noticed, the prices have gone up. I'm assuming it's due to COVID. Maybe more brands are trying to claw back lost money. I'm really sorry that on this occasion, I feel like I'm normally quite good at picking through the internet and finding alternatives that are in budget. You can still get loads of really nice alternatives from lesser brands, but with great quality, better quality in many ways than some of the, you know, the upper brands. But I understand for a lot of you watching, you want, you know, you work hard, you want that logo, you want to, I know logos aren't for everyone, but I know for a lot of you they are. I like a logo, you know. When you've got a budget, it's difficult when you start getting priced out, and even pre-loved is now at a point where even that is getting quite unaffordable. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to go and talk to some of you now in the comments.